Ah, yeah. So, like, I opened the Slack app, and I had I had Slack open already, but it just wasn't in the background. And once I opened it, there was like 30 notifications that popped up, and a lot of them were from 11 this morning. Um, with Signal, like, I need to have Signal open in order to actually see it. There's a lot of times where I don't have a notification, and then I'll click Signal, and then after I click Signal, I will see all of the messages and notifications, and that is slightly less than ideal. I don't know if I've misconfigured something. It's very possible that I have misconfigured something, or that I've messed up a setting somewhere or something. If somebody who is smarter than me knows what I could have done. That's what I noticed, switching to Graphene OS. I just noticed that today. So, like, I thought maybe it was just that I wasn't paying attention to my notifications. But I was like, no, I just haven't been getting them. For certain applications I do, for other applications I don't. It's possible that I misconfigured something. I'm not very smart. I'm a pretty dumb human. But if I didn't misconfigure something, that's going to wind up being the deal breaker to me. So there's a difference in the whole approach to this. Like, I know with micro G, that gets to run as a privileged system app in the background, whereas Sandbox Play Services is just the normal straight up stuff from Google, except on Graphene it doesn't get to run as a privileged user, it gets to run as a pleb like everybody else. Which can be argued as the more secure approach, but can also be argued as the approach that gets you, no notifications. Unless the apps are like set with their own, like the apps that use Google's system for notifications, the apps that use Google's system for push notifications to phones, those are the ones where you kind of get the short end of the stick. It's crazy, like, even how many of these applications are using Google servers for Google push notifications rather than their own. So even if you wind up using a different operating system, you still are using Google shit. Like, there's really you can limit your exposure to Google, but to not use Google at all is to really enter, the tech of the 1980s. It's crazy. Polling for instant messenger updates. You never thought you'd see it happen, but you saw it happen. You never thought you'd see it happen. I'm too lazy to switch back because I just got all my shit set up here and I don't feel like setting up a phone from scratch again. That stuff's very annoying. But the push notification thing is kind of, yeah, I gotta figure out a way around that. So I'm going to a few career fairs over the next few days. One in Austin tomorrow, University of Texas. One in Houston, University of Rice University. I love Rice. One in Dallas on Friday. There's one in Dallas. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully talk to some young new talent. Talk to them about the social media plan. Talk to them about some of the ideas. Still have New York plates. I got rid of those in January, bro. I actually got rid of those in December. December 30th, 2021. I made a promise to myself that I would not have New York plates or a New York State ID by the end of 2021. Because the thing is, I knew I would never make the move if I waited for the perfect moment. So I waited. So I did, instead of wait for the perfect moment, I did what I usually do, which is procrastinate, wait to the last moment, the worst moment, and then I rented an apartment in the middle of nowhere, just to get started. Like, I just wanted to get used to the concept of not having New York on my license plates or my ID, And that place was not the place for me to settle down. It wasn't for me. Like a town of 3,000 people, that's not it. That's not it. I mean, I would argue that the population is wrong. There's no way there's 3,000 people in that town. Like, at best, 500. Maybe a joke in there that I was Joe Biden. I don't believe the election was stolen. 100% believe if it did, I think that would be a funny time to make that joke. It would be funny if I believed it. There's a Texas flag in the back of that truck, and it has words in it, and I want to see what they say, but I can't read it from here. I could probably go for following distance, but then I'm tailgating a truck, and that's pretty dumb. But I want to read it. He should have made it with a bigger font. Why would you write the words on a Texas flag white? That's just why. I don't get it. It makes it very difficult to read. I'd like to know what it says. At the next red light, maybe I'll go closer to it. The notification thing has been for a year, according to Reddit. Yeah, again, that's not. I did not experience that when using any Android open source project with MicroG. That's something that I experienced with this. That shit's killing me. Like, I really, really like my push notifications. I get it. You know. The other thing is I noticed that issue I was having with YouTube live chat not working unless you physically clicked it. That is true for the YouTube app, but it's not true for YouTube Vanced. And YouTube Vanced uses MicroG, but YouTube uses the Sandbox Play services. Which leads me to the belief that I'm really giving up real-time push notifications in a lot of these apps that I use if I use the graphene approach to the Sandbox Play services rather than the MicroG approach. If there's a setting I've misconfigured or something I've done wrong, and perhaps there is, I'm always open to the fact that perhaps I've done something wrong. You know, I'm open to learning. I want to learn.